Pulbena samvritastasmin.
Pulbena samvritastasmin.
Antraischa bahiravritaha.
Antraischa
Aste kritva
bahiravritaha.
shira kukshav.
Aste
Ujna prishta shirodharaha. Pulbena samvritastasmin.
Pulbena samvritastasmin.
Antraischa bahiravritaha.
Antraischa bahiravritaha.
Aste kritva shira kukshav.
Aste kritva shira kukshav.
Ugna prishta shirodharaha.
Shirodharaha.
Yes. So please chant respectfully. Everybody give everybody a chance. Chant.
Hare Krishna. Pulbena samvritastasmin antraischa bahiravritaha aste kritva shira kukshav bhugna prishtha shirodharaha.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Ulbena samvratastasmin antratascha bahiravrataha aste kratva shirah kukshav bhugna prashtha shirodharaha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Ulbina sambrutah tasmin antareischa bahirvaprutah aste krutva sirah kukhyo bhagna prustha sirodharaha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Ulbena samvritastasmin antarascha bahiravrataha aste krutva siro kukshav bhugna prastha shirodharaha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Ulbena samvritastasmin antraischa bahiravritaha aste kritva shira kukshav bhugna prishtha shirodharaha.
Hare Krishna. Ulbena samrivartasa tasmin antarischa bahirtava aste kartabhya sira kukso bhogna prastha sirodhara. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Ulbena samvatasmin antraischa bahiravrataha aste kritva shirah kukshav bhugna prashtha shirodharaha.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Ulbena samvritastasmin antriyascha bahiravrataha aste kritva shirah kukshav bhugna prastha shirodharaha.
Hare Krishna. My
Hare Krishna.
voice is clear.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It is at a new place, so little there may be some difficulty in audio, video. Kindly tolerate. Ulbena by the Omnivian. Samvritaha.
Ulbena.
No, don't repeat, okay? Because it causes confusion. Ulbena by the Omnivian, Samvrita enclosed, Tasmin in that place, Antrai by the intestine, Cha and Bahir outside, Avritaha covered, Aste he lies, Kritva having put Shiraha the head, Kukshav toward the belly, Bhugna bent, Prishta back, Shiradhara neck. Placed in the omnivein and covered outside by the intestine, the child remains lying on the side of the abdomen, his head turned toward his belly, and his back and neck arched like a bow. Placed within the amnion and covered outside by the intestine. Placed within the amnion. Yeah, repeat now. Placed within the amnion
Placed within the amnion.
Placed within the amnion.
And covered outside by the intestine.
And covered outside
Covered outside by the intestines.
The child remains lying
The child remains
The child remains
on the side of
lying
the abdomen,
on one side of the
on
abdomen.
one side of the abdomen.
turned
His head turned
His head
towards his
turned
belly,
towards his belly.
and his
his
back
belly.
and neck
And his back and neck
His back and neck
arched like a bow.
arched like a bow.
arched like a bow.
Yeah, who is going to read this? Mataji is there?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Ah,
I'll read Prabhuji.
yes.
Yes, sir. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. If a grown man were put into such a condition as a child within the abdomen, completely entangled in all respects, it would be impossible for him to live even for a few seconds. Unfortunately, we forget all these sufferings and try to be happy in this life, not caring for the liberation of the soul from the entanglement of birth and death. It is an unfortunate civilization in which these matters are not plainly discussed to make people understand the precarious condition of material existence. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Om Jnanativarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarine. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Ulbena Samvrita Tasmin.
Ulbena
Ulbena samritta tasmin.
Antarescha Bahiravritaha.
Antarescha bhairavritaha.
Aste Kritva Shira Kukshav.
Kritva sira kukshau.
Na Prishta Shirodharaha.
Prishta shirodharaha.
Placed with the amnion and covered outside by the intestine, the child remains lying on the side of the abdomen, his head turned towards his belly and his back and neck arched like a bow. And something very interesting, Prabhupada says, it is unfortunate that in this civilization, these matters are not plainly discussed to make people understand the precarious condition of material existence. So it's a desire of Srila Prabhupada that we discuss the precarious condition of material existence, isn't it? Prabhupada wants us to discuss, but we do not discuss. Anna? And he's not happy about that. We should discuss. So let us try to discuss. Precarious condition now. Just wait 1 minute. Precarious condition. Okay, I was just analyzing, gave a hint of that. Let us compare ourselves to Dhritarashtra. After the Mahabharata war is over, somebody goes to instruct Dhritarashtra. You all know who is that person? Vidura. And he uses these words, my dear Dhritarashtra, can't you see the precarious condition of your existence? And I was just meditating, actually, we are all like Dhritarashtra, isn't it? Look why. Number one, Dhritarashtra wanted to be the king. king. What is the meaning of a king? King means he orders. Hey, babe, go there. That is king. No? King means hukum chalega, who can order. But actually the fact is he could not be king because he was blind. And similarly, we all want to be the king, controller. We are just like Dhritarashtra was fighting, playing all politics somehow to be the king. We are also whole life trying to be the king. But the fact is, we are not the king. We are unqualified. Just like Dhritarashtra was not qualified, is blind. Similarly, we are small jiva. A jiva cannot be controller. But like Dhritarashtra, we want to be artificially, we want to be the controller. He had the desire. But he was told, no, you cannot be the king because you're blind. Your brother will be king. Oh, why I can't be king? He didn't accept that. And then when the brother died, he thought, now I got opportunity to be the king, even though he was only made caretaker. King was Yudhishthira. But he did all politics, something, somehow, kill them, somehow become the king. True? So we also want to somehow be the king in this world. Somehow. God is not there. God is dead. Like Pandu is dead. God is also dead. There is no God. I am God. I am controller. That is the height of, trying to be the king. Who has seen God? These are all so-called sinful demons of the world. Like they say like that. Who has seen God? Have you seen God? But what is the meaning? I am God. Now, suppose somebody is buying vegetables, okay? You tell him, don't buy vegetables from him. Then I have to buy from you. No. Somewhere I have to buy vegetables. So we all have a need. We like to follow somebody. We want to take shelter of somebody. We want somebody's protection. You say, don't, there is no God. That means take my protection. Say that. You're not saying that. That is what the secret message is. Suppose somebody is selling mangoes and you say, don't buy from him. Means, why you're telling that? That means, what is your interest in it? Buy from me. He is not good God. You come to me. So our intention is somehow become an authority, somehow become supreme. And for that, just like Dhritarashtra, somehow wanted to be the king. So what was he doing? He was very happy. Pandu is dead. Now I got chance. I can become the king. He was only caretaker. He was never the Dhritarashtra. Somehow, Takallo. There are various meanings of the word Dhritarashtra. Pakallo, Rajya karo, chori karlo, jo se, beg, borrow, steal, be the king. Somehow be the king. We are all in this world to be an artificial king. And in this attempt which he made to be an artificial king, he did so many sinful activities. Regularly he was advised of Vidura. And Vidura used to advise him, my dear brother. And he used to listen to him. And the advice was pleasing. Vidura was like a great saint. He was speaking with great respect, affection. Vidura is Yamaraj, but still he has a perfect behavior. I hope the sound of the fan is not disturbing. There is one problem in this new
No,
place.
no problem.
Now I switched it off. So now, voice will be better. So now we have a situation. He wants to be the king artificially. And Vidura is coming and advising him, trying to pull him out of this foolishness to be the king. Okay? And you are a king. Go deeply, nobody the king. We all have come to be the king. If you are a king, then everything should obey your order. Satya Sankalpa, Krishna's name is Satya. What it wishes happens immediately. Let there be creation and billions of universes are created. That is God. But here we wish something reverse happens. I remember once somebody came to the temple and he said, can you please give me shelter? So one devotee was there. He was telling him, what shelter we can give? Only Krishna can give shelter. You understand? That is a reality. What shelter we can give, just like children come to mama, father, please give me shelter. We should tell truthfully, we will try my best, my dear child. But actually we have only one shelter, Krishna. There is no other shelter. We all want protection. We all want protection. But only protector is Krishna. We should tell the truth to everybody. Okay, as father and mother, maybe I'm trying to give you protection and care. But without his will, nothing will happen. I'm not a real protector. He is real. And Prabhupada says very nicely, human life is meant to seek protection of Krishna. In other forms of life, animal life and all, they take protection by your own strength. They take protection by their family or by the jhund they go in. But actually, we have that example of Gajendra. He was with his family, he was very powerful. He was taking protection from his strength, from his various wives, from his friends, and he was walking like a king. Even animals were scared of him. Even tigers were scared of him. He was so powerful, Gajendra. And he went to the water and he was splashing water on his children's wives. Oh, fun life, I'm a king. And when he was walking, before coming to the water, all animals were running away because he was Gajendra. And suddenly, the situation changed. In the water, crocodile held his leg. He can't do anything. He can't do anything. Helpless he is. So similarly, we will be king of any kind. You have seen that? I've seen one video when one CEO is there, he's shouting at everybody. And suddenly he has a heart attack in that. And he's holding it and he's helplessly lying on the ground. Everything. So situation changes at any moment. At any moment. But you want to be a king. You want to control things. Huh? Control. Order. I'll not become old. Order that. Let us see. Time and tide do not take anybody's order. That's the famous saying. When king was there, you were ordering time. Time, don't move. It will move. If you are king, tell your watch, stop moving. Time, reverse. Let us see, what kind of king are you. We are all joker kings, actually. Joker. The gopis requested Krishna that we are enjoying Rasa Leela so much with you. We don't want this to end. Imagine the happiness. By chanting name of Krishna, so much happiness you are getting. Just imagine the day when we see Krishna and the day you dance with Krishna. So the gopis said, no, this should not go away. This enjoyment should continue. And what did Krishna said? Okay, this will be the night of Brahma. So can you do that? Can you change the night, today's night? You are having fun with your friends. So where are we? We are not the kings. We are trying to be the kings. It is not possible. Just like Dhritarashtra is disqualified. He's a blind man, can't be the king. Artificially wanted to be the king. How can a blind man be the king? King should control what he can control when he cannot even see anything. So we cannot see anything. We cannot do anything. Still you want to be the king. That's a stupid person we are. So this is, we are just trying like Dhritarashtra. And then let us meditate more on Dhritarashtra life. So again and again, Vidura was advising him. And Vidura was a great saint. His advice was with a great respect. It was very pleasing to Dhritarashtra. We hear advice from the Shastra, from devotees. But Dhritarashtra used to tell Vidura, whatever you say, actually, he seems factual. I also understand Krishna is God. Imagine. Exactly our situation now is imitating. But when I see Duryodhana, I lose control on myself. Because similarly, we also say, I lose control on myself when a sense object comes. I know Krishna is God. I chant Hare Krishna also, 16 round I chant. But sometimes when sense object comes, I lose control on myself. Exactly like the Dhritarashtra. Isn't it true? Our life is exactly like this. Sometimes I get envious, sometimes I get jealous, sometimes I get lusty. That all happens. I know Krishna is God. I understand that, Vidura. You are so nice. I understand all. What to do. He says that he's his brother, no? But when I look at my son, I lose his son because he was thought, okay, I cannot be king. I'm blind. My son can be the king. So somehow he was trying. I cannot be the king which I wanted. Let my son be the king. Many people do that. They work hard, very hard. My son should do this, and he should be the king. मेरा बेटा सेटल हो गया. अरे सेटल हो गया, इंद्रिय भोग में सेटल हो गया, उसका जीवन नष्ट हो गया. Not even one sense that my son is not chanting Hare Krishna. What will be the gati of this child? Where he will go? I tried to be the king, I failed. Now I'm telling my son, you try to be the king, he will also fail. Nobody is the king in this world. We are all Jiva Krishna Das, E Vishwas. We are all servants of Krishna. Ekala Ishvara Krishna. There is only one king. Arasa Bhritya. Everybody is. So Prabhupada wants us to meditate. Precarious condition. And the child in the womb is in a very precarious condition. Okay? So let us meditate the child. We are there in the world to be the king. Let us continue, finish that example, then we'll come to the meditation on the child. So We are trying to be the king like Dhritarashtra, and then very interesting, Dhritarashtra, what is the problem of a king? The king, is that the problem? Correct? The problem with the king is that he will, that he's not going to live for long. What kind of king you are? First thing, you want to live, no? You want to be continue to be the king. Have you seen any politician retiring? I hardly heard of anybody retiring. They don't. Till 99 years, they will sit on. Because we have come to this world for money and power. We have come to this world to become a king. Like the Dhritarashtra, how is it going to work? It's not going to work. It doesn't work. There was Hiranyakashipu tried. Now just imagine we are trying to be immortal. Another thing of a king is he wants to be immortal. Hiranyakashipu, the tapasya I did for immortality, it shook the whole universe. It's such a tapasya I did that a fire started coming from his head. He was just a simple thing. He was just raising his hand and standing like that. Can you try? You know, sometimes the teacher gets angry in the class. He does that. Correct? Maybe you as a teacher would have done that. And at the end of the class, heads are paining like anything, half an hour. It's so irritating. Just imagine he was standing like that for such a long time. The termites entered his body and ate his body. Still he was standing. Just imagine you're standing in the class like this and insects climb you and they're beating a body. And no, I'm going to still stand. Sat tapasya. Whole body is eaten away. Eaten away. And then finally the tapasya, because of tapasya, whole universe was shaking because of the tapasya. Can we do tapasya like that? Still, after the tapasya, Brahma took pity on him. Brahma came, my dear child, what are you trying? No, give me a blessing. Okay, tell him what you want. No, I want immortality. Brahma said, what? Even I am not immortal. Even I am subject to that. Okay, I'll give you something. What? I'll ask you something, sorry. What is that? I should not die in the day. He made a big list. So similarly, we may make so many lists, but time represents Krishna. The real king, the Lord, the time is a representation. It will crush you one day. You cannot fight against time. It represents, can you fight with Krishna? Can anybody win a war with Krishna? So time also, you cannot win over Krishna. Time will crush you one day. Because it represents Krishna. So don't try. The modern science is thinking, we'll make some kind of medicine and you will stop the aging of the gene. So you will not die. They say like all that. You will not become old. You will always remain young. Proper laugh. Such attempt have been made in the history. It didn't work. Very scientist who is working on that will die in front of you. So let us not have hope in this foolishness. We think maybe this scientist will make one injection and this is how people remove the fear of death. Death is as sure as death. Let us accept this fact. We have to die one day. And that is the creation of Krishna. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of this. Because that will because we are in a conditioned body. The very meditation that death is coming makes us think spiritually a little. Take advantage of this. Just like in a college exam is there, take advantage of the exam. Don't go against that system created by the college. It is for your advantage, the system of exam. So this death is for our advantage created by Krishna. So human life, so this Vidura. Another thing was that when Krishna came for the peace offer, he asked Dhritarashtra that you kindly control your son Duryodhana. And Dhritarashtra saw what all happened. Krishna showed Vishwarupa also at the end. But still his son was spoiled, Son, I told you many times, son is like the mind. Mind did not listen. And they ran to Krishna and he said, I'm sorry. I'm not able to control the situation. So Krishna says he's king, but he's not in control of the situation. What kind of king you are? So we are also saying we are king. We are unable to control even our mind. What kind of king we are? Duryodhana is like our mind. Always he was doing all obnoxious activity and Dhritarashtra could never control his son. So similarly, we are unable to control our mind. If you want to do something great, first control your mind. Isn't Dhritarashtra the failure that he could not train his child Duryodhana? That is where his business starts first. because of too much attachment to the child. He never corrected him, never trained him properly, and the child became spoiled. The same way, if you do not train our mind, the mind becomes spoiled. Mind is like a child, is an instrument waiting to be trained. You train him. Just like a child God gives. He's at your shelter. You can train him. He never trained them. So similarly, we don't train our mind. Like Dhritarashtra, we just have desire for name, fame, power, to long life, which is all foolish. So Prabhupada begins in that discussion of Vidura, when he comes, Vidura says, my dear Dhritarashtra, can't you see a great calamity has come?
एकदम क्लियर भी है, आवाज भी लाउड क्लियर. थैंक यू. सॉरी फॉर.
So there is a great calamity has come. He is telling Dhritarashtra, can't you see? I'm just meditating on Dhritarashtra, Vidura's instruction. So always Dhritarashtra, whenever he is telling the calamity is there, Dhritarashtra will say, Vidura, what is the remedy? So Vidura says, there is no remedy for this now. Because always he used to give him remedy. That there is no remedy. Your death has come. Oh, really? Can't you see that? You are coughing now. You know, your bones are all shaken up. Your body has become old. Can't you see the symptoms of death already visible in you? Can't you see already your all friends have died? Can't you see that? Dhritarashtra, you see that situation? Bhishma died. Who is elder to him? His Dronacharya died. Correct? Karna died, whom he thought will protect his son. He also died. And all his 100 sons died. Still he's thinking, I will not die. Can you imagine the joke? Millions of people died in the battlefield, but he's thinking, I'm not die. And not only that, he is living a very shameless life now. That's what Vidura tells him. Isn't it a matter of shame? You're eating food given by Bhima? Because whole life, he wanted to kill Bhima. He was very envious of Bhima because Bhima was an obstacle from his son to be the king. And Bhima killed his 100 sons. You know, the anger he had after the Mahabharata war, he wanted to crush Bhima because he killed his 100 sons. And, you know, Krishna knew that. He knew when they went to meet Dhritarashtra after the war, Krishna knew his anger is particularly to Bhima. So he made, when he wanted to embrace, he gave him a putala of Bhima made of metal. And he had a lot of power because of, you know, he is not an ordinary person, a special king. He crushed it to pieces, that metal thing, you know, sone ka thing. He had something, not sone ka, some metal ka. And Duryodhana has to practice fighting, hitting him. So he had that in his palace. He got that and he was, you know, trying to crush him, kill him. Now, how much he used to hate him. So he says, I'm not ashamed. He's, you know, inciting him. Because you want to take him to spiritual life. He's saying, aren't you ashamed of, you know, eating food like a dog? You know, dog, you throw biscuits, like Bhima throws some biscuits and you eat that. Bhima, he uses the word name of Bhima. So he thought, sharam nahi hai kya? Uske haath ka khana kha raha hai, tera sharam nahi hai, kutte ki tarah, wo biscuit phek raha khata hai. So, you know, there's a condition of Dhritarashtra. So we are also living in a very shameless position then, you know, as the age grows, totally helpless. And still we will not take to spiritual life. The life becomes very difficult. All teeth are falling away. You know, whole brain doesn't work. Every moment is a pain. Even in that situation, we become helpless on other people to maintain us. And we do not take shelter of Krishna. Whose actual human life is to understand. If somebody in human life has not understood that actually my protection only Krishna, he is an animal. Because other thing animal also does. You know, he has trouble, he goes to his father, mother, and a small child as an animal. Right? He has his friends. So that animal also does. But human life is there when you understand my protection is Krishna. That is what Vidura tells them. You are wasting your time taking protection of so many people. And artificially, he says, oh king, he keeps playing with him. Oh king, can't you think you are eating food thrown by Bhima? Oh, like burning his head. Okay, I'm ready. Now I'm ready to get out of this place. He said, how long you will stay in materialistic life? How long you will, why don't you take now to spiritual life? Enough is enough. Whole life I saw you trying to be the king, and you know, Yudhishthira was so kind. Every day he used to come in the morning. My dear, Dhritarashtra ji, how are you? You are such a wonderful person, but I'm so sorry I gave you so much pain. You gave me shelter. I have no parents. You gave me shelter, but I have no gratitude for that. Instead of that, I killed all your sons. I am such a crooked person. Imagine a great man of Yudhishthira. He created Vaikuntha, Rama Rajya on earth. Look at the words he's speaking. Can you imagine him speaking like that? Actually, it reversed. The Dhritarashtra tortured them so much, but he's not speaking, he's not seeing any negative. He's only the good part. You gave me shelter, I was without parents, we came here. But in return, instead of any gratitude, I killed all your children. I know you both must be in unbearable pain because of my foolish activities. He used to give such pleasing words to the Dhritarashtra. And after that, he said, I have some things to discuss with you. Today this thing is coming up for, judgment. One case, what do you advise? Oh, you should do like that. You should. He was still playing like a king. Still, he was enjoying. I am the king. I am the king. Even though body is falling apart, teeth are shaking, everybody has died, all children have died. Still, I will not die and I can still be the king. Somehow artificially continue to be the king. And at that time, Vidura walks in. When Vidura walks in, at that time, Yudhishthira says, Tirtham Kuruvanti Tirthani. My dear uncle, you do not need to visit holy places. You can create holy places. Just like a bird protects the egg by the shade of her own wing, same way by your own shade, you protected us. And actually, Vidura protected the Pandavas. You know that, Lac Registrations, where he was to, Vidura knew. Both Bhishma and Vidura were sad with the way things are going in the palace. They knew it's very bad. They're trying to kill these pure, innocent children. They knew that. And Vidura was always giving tips and protecting the Pandavas. Particularly Lac Registrations, he sent a message to Yudhishthira, the house will be burned, be careful. And they made an arrangement, and they ran away and the house was burned. Yeah, careful, you all know that. So he said, you always protected us, like a bird protects the children. And then Vidura told, take care, the death is coming. And actually Prabhupada says, Yudhishthira did not have been instructed. He is an advanced soul. He will take care, prepare himself for death. And that's what happens later. But he knew that his instruction was for Dhritarashtra, but everybody was listening. Can't you see that death is coming? It is for Dhritarashtra, such a materialistic fellow. Can't you see that death is coming? So take a decision now. And finally, Dhritarashtra takes a decision. Okay. But then what happens? So much offenses he has done to the Pandavas, so much offenses, that he goes to the forest and is practicing a meditation, and by tapasya he burns his own body, and Kuti starts burning, Gandhari also enters. So that's a separate issue. But the main thing, Bhagavatam mentioned, he could not go back to Godhead. Why? Because so much offenses done to the Pandavas, who are so dear to Krishna. So similarly, what is the use of practicing spiritual life if you do offenses to the Vaishnavas? You should be careful. Should be careful, because Krishna will not tolerate. And your own happiness of spiritual life will go away. So we should be careful. Sometimes what happens, devotee may not be perfect in his dealing. He may seek something high or low, but doesn't mean you demonize him. I don't like when somebody demonizes other devotee. Why don't demonize? He's a devotee. It's sweet. It's trying to serve Krishna. Don't demonize. Nobody is a demon. Everybody trying to serve Krishna. So anyway, so here we have a meditation that we're trying to be the king like Dhritarashtra, and it never will work. And Dhritarashtra at least became serious at a particular stage. But when we will become serious? Okay. So we are also getting, like Vidura, Krishna keeps arranging somebody to instruct us. It's not only Dhritarashtra got a privilege. Yes. We are also getting instruction. Prabhupada words and books is no less than Vidura. We are also getting guidance. So nice. You read 2 pages, you feel Prabhupada is so great. First thing comes in your heart, is so great. How nicely is guiding me. Like Vidura, Dhritarashtra always felt respect for Vidura. Isn't it? The same way, Prabhupada is so gently, always guiding us and reminding us. You want to spend whole life not listening to his instruction. Yeah, I know it is all good, but but what to do? When I see I can't control myself. We should not just stop saying that like Dhritarashtra. Don't become like another Dhritarashtra. So, and at least Dhritarashtra took serious at a particular stage. When am I going to become serious in spiritual life? I'll continue to try to be the king whole life. So we should give up this thing. Now, coming back to the shloka Prabhupada to meditate, the child in the womb is in a very, very precarious condition. It should be discussed actually. In modern science, there is not much discussion of the pain of child. There is a discussion of pain of death, pain of diseases, pain of old age, but there is no discussion of pain of death. In fact, pain of death and the pain of birth, both are difficult to speak. We don't know. We don't know much. Suppose somebody is about to die, but we can figure out death to some extent. It's a pain of old age continues. And at the point of death, we can understand how there is intense pain because all your life is taken away. Your children are taken away. Your relatives are taken away. Your property is taken away. And your wealth is taken away. Your honor is taken away. So many things are taken away at one moment. You have to sacrifice these things at that moment. It's very, very painful. Very painful situation at the point of death. So Prabhupada said this should be discussed. In Bhagavad Gita also says this should be discussed. In science, there is old age study. I think it's called gerontology. Study of the person in old age is very, very painful position. Even when it comes to situation, urine you cannot pass. It has to pull with a syringe. You cannot clear your stomach. So painful condition. I was asking an old man how his life is. Every day something new starts, a new problem starts. Just like an old car, some new problem starts every day. It's like that. Meditate on that. Discuss that. Because the creation of Krishna. Everything Krishna does is wonderful. The old age and death also he created. That's wonderful. It helps us to become serious about, become less serious about materialistic life and start thinking about spiritual life. So it is creation of Krishna for our benefit. It is not something created for our loss. No, it is for our benefit. Accept it. Yes, Krishna. Thank you. So then child also, we just can, Bhagavatam is talking about, you're like this, you're packed up in a dark place. Yesterday I was telling you, I was studying somewhere, the solitary confinement is very, very painful. People go mad. Suppose, just imagine, somebody locks you in a room, single alone, you're locked up for a day. No mobile, no internet, no mobile. People, those two are there, then no TV. And you're locked in a room. It'll be very, 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 you'll get bored. True? Just imagine 1 month, you go crazy. Solitary confinement is a really torturous punishment. And for 9 months, we are like this. Very painful. And the Bhagavatam says around 7 lunar months, the consciousness is manifest. So you feel that pain, not for 7 months, you don't feel. For the last 2 months, you feel. No, 10 months. So last 3 lunar months, you feel that pain. 3 lunar months. 10 lunar months is equal to solar 9 plus some days. Take it. You are in that pain. For the 3 lunar months, you are in that position of complete isolation in a dark place. And then also Krishna gives you memory of your last 100 births. So a person, if Prabhupada says, if he is qualified, a pious soul, he prays to the Lord. Okay, so that is the situation of the birth. And very, very painful. Yesterday we discussed, if the mother takes something bitter or something, it pains. So it pains, a very painful condition, alone, isolated. So this life is very miserable. Prabhupada says in one class, samsritihi, birth is very painful. No child comes, smiling, all come with the pain. And like whole life will continue to pain. Then you go to schools and college. Then after you're born, you cry because your ant is biting you. But the mother doesn't know why is he crying. He's trying to feed him. You can't even express yourself for a couple of years after you're born. Again, painful condition. Then as I start to walk and all, thug, throw me inside school. And then what happens? Exam, again pain, some suffering continue. Till finally your college exam, suffering. And then so many responsibilities, suffering. Then old age, disease, death. Person dies. So where there is happiness, there is only suffering. Samskriti, material existence is full of suffering. So these all things make a person understand that actually he should stop this business of being the king, because of which he's finished. He's being punished. Rather, he should try to take shelter of Krishna, become a devotee, and become actually happy. Jiva Krishna Das, E Vishwas. Karle Tara Dukkanai. Accept this fact that you're not the king. You're only a servant of Krishna. Then whole life becomes successful. Hare Krishna. We have a guest today, Sheetalanga Prabhu. He will start class at 11 to 1. I think some of you attended his last class, so I wish all of you join. 11 o'clock, same link. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Yes, what is the question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
What is the question?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, sorry, I just needed clarity. You mentioned about the 7 lunar months and the consciousness. If you could just mention that
Okay,
again.
see what happens, no? There is something called susupti, deep sleep. So we are in deep sleep for 7 months. Our conscious not, because body is not ready, you know, how to manifest the conscious. 7 months, the body is ready. So then the consciousness is manifest. And at that time, this all drama starts. You start praying to the Lord. That Bhagavatam will speak now. Your prayers, everything is there. Generally similar prayers. We all offer, my Lord, enough. This life I suddenly surrender to you. Like that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Chalenge, Hare Krishna. Okay? So we have big class. Now we have to make arrangement. And our temple is almost ready. Okay? So those who are the ashram, so those who are in Bangalore, please